All right, go for it, Paul.
Okay. Testing, testing. Today on Quality Time with Family Ties, we learn absence makes the heart grow hornier.
And in 3, 2, 1. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Quality Time with Family Ties. I'm one of your hosts, Scott Jones. We are back with Season 2, and joining me is Mr. Paul Packler. Paul, how are you?
I'm great. I'm so excited.
I know. It's the new day. Corey, what about you?
I'm very excited because this was a good episode.
This is I have such high hopes now for this season.
And it just sounded like they just figured out. I thought Alex's voice was the strongest it has ever been.
Yeah.
And I thought they played him comedically well. And I'm telling you, Carrie, there's got to be an arc with her in the show.
Oh,
she
I
blew
hope
me
so.
away.
If she doesn't come back, I'm going to be so upset.
That's what I said. I said they've got to have her back. And she is smoldering hot.
She smolders the whole entire episode.
The whole episode. What a terrific performance. It was really, really entertaining.
She was hilarious, and she was so sexy. It was
extremely, and what a great character too! Like a strong, individual
a strong
woman,
feminist character, but a feminist unlike his mother is a feminist. She's
Yes.
just a little bit more. The word I could use is bohemian. She's a little bit more exotic and bohemian, and that scared the shit out of Alex P. Keaton.
Great conflicting characters. Well, before we get into it, we are on Season 2, Episode 1, Tinder is the Night. I have no idea why it was called that, and night is spelled K-N-I-G-H-T. So
okay, I know why.
Do you know? Okay, please explain.
It was the last completed novel that F. Scott Fitzgerald wrote.
Wow.
It was
the Night without the K, of course.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
I think he spent about 10 years writing it. I read it when I was living in Chicago in a studio apartment by myself. I didn't leave my apartment for a week. I read that and Private Parts and the Howard Stern book. And I watched on a constant loop the episodes of Family Ties that I had taped off the TV from like Nick at Night. And so that was an entire week in Chicago that I did after college.
That sounds so sad, Paul.
I don't know. Private Parts is a really entertaining book.
I'm saying it's entertaining. It's just how he described it.
Yeah. The only time I ever talked to a human that week was when I went to a bar. That was it.
Okay.
So you didn't have shots while you were in your hotel room?
No, my apartment.
Your apartment. You were living in Chicago.
Yes.
And you didn't do shots alone? You went to a bar? Because I'll just be pathetic and do shots alone if I have to.
Corey, I was so poor at that time. This is before Snow White. That I would go out to eat once a month, and that was Burger King.
Wow. Look how far you've come, Paul Packler.
I know, right?
Yeah.
It's Chipotle as far as the eye can see.
You've gone from fast food to fast casual, and that's impressive.
That is
Thank
impressive.
you.
That is
Thank you.
very impressive.
But so the book is like an autobiographical book about F. Scott Fitzgerald's relationship with his wife Zelda, who had schizophrenia, and they were both alcoholics, and his life fell apart as he kept putting her in and out of institutions. I think she ended up in Baltimore, Maryland. There was a house that he put her in.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And it's also based on a real-life couple who, like, every jet-setting Lost Generation writer hung out with in the French Riviera. This married couple who wasn't famous, but, everyone hung out with them because they were a sexy couple. And so it's a really good book.
How does that connect to this episode?
Oh, no idea.
Okay. Just checking.
Oh, thank God.
I was about to say, where's it going?
Something.
That's all. Okay.
Is there a connection I'm supposed to make? Oh, I know what Tender is the Night is. I knew about that book. I was wondering, what the fuck did it have to do with the 22 minutes of television I just watched?
Zero. It has literally nothing.
Okay.
Well, to start off, guys, we know this is going to be a good season because, one, looking at the intro credits, first thing, we got
beard.
The beard. The beard. Michael Gross has a beard. I felt more comfortable. He felt more like a.
He's more daddy to me now. He looks like
yeah.
dad.
He's more green, more liberal.
He looks great. He just looks great. Thank God.
It was comforting. It was really. And then we also have the painting at the beginning, which is just like our Facebook page. That's where we ripped it.
That's where our logo came from. Exactly. Yeah.
So it's all kind of coming together.
And it's all the clips that you would see too. The Alex, on the wheelie chair doing that. Like we have that pinned as our GIF on our Twitter account. Is him doing the thing on the wheelie chair and Elise cooking and spinning around. It's like this is the quintessential opening credits that we all remember.
It's funny. My wife walked through the room when the credits were on, looked up, watched the whole credits, and said, "Now this is the Family Ties I remember."
Yeah.
It was like, yes. The minute it happened, it was like, oh. And then the episode started, and that was good too.
Yeah. It was kind of funny watching those clips, having knowing that these clips are gonna be in future episodes. So it was weird, kind of looking into the future. With this opening now.
It's probably in the first 3 or 4 episodes.
Yeah.
Of the season, because that's all they probably were banked before it started airing.
Right.
Exactly. So the episode starts off, we are in the kitchen. Elise and the girls are with Carrie and her mom, Julia.
Who's dressed like, I want to say Tallulah Bankhead? Am I right on my...
Yeah, I had a note about it.
Because you're reacting to the headdress, and that's the first thing I reacted to, too. So that was a really specific decision to show us who this character was.
Yeah.
And it plays off Carrie, too, a little bit.
It does. I was really, first of all, Carrie, let's talk about the actress for a moment.
Oh, God, she has a bio like you wouldn't believe. This is what we talked about last week.
I couldn't know exactly what she was from, but I've seen her.
The most important thing 35 years later is she was the first Mrs. Clooney.
Oh, well, that too.
Really?
And, she was before his current marriage.
I didn't know he got married he had been married.
Yes, he was married very briefly in his early 20s to this lovely young woman. I also looked up the age difference. By the way, the actress we're talking about is Talia Balsam, daughter of the great actor Martin Balsam.
And his wife was Dick Van Patten's sister, and she was an actress. So
Joyce Van Patten.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Talia Balsam has been married for quite a few years now to John Slattery from Mad Men.
And they've played husband and wife on Mad Men. She was the original.
Has she been on Mad Men too?
She was the original Mrs. Sterling. She was Mona, the one who had a kid with.
Okay.
So really, I mean, and coming from this theatrical family, the Balsams. I mean, her father was Oscar nominated at some point, I'm sure. Go ahead.
He played the coolest juror on 12 Angry Men because he had a tie on a polo shirt. It was the weirdest thing.
I remember him most from the original The Taking of Pelham 123, that really exciting subway movie that they remade a few years ago with like Travolta, I think.
Right.
But in the original one, it was Walter Matthau and Martin Balsam and some other character actor who was wonderful.
Yeah.
And it was a much better version than the beefed up one with Denzel.
Oh, it was horrible.
Yeah.
Was he in a bunch of like cop? I feel like he would have been in tons of New York cop movies in the 70s.
Tons of New York cop movies, absolutely. Yeah. Terrific actor, and boy, she is just, and she's wonderful, and you're right, just one of the sexiest performances. Now, I hate to bring this up because I'm just going to sound like a pig, and you guys know the last thing in the world I am.
Of course.
No one listening should think that Corey is a pig.
That's my disclaimer. I respect and love women.
Yes.
But she was braless this whole episode, and it was so cute.
In a very cute way. Yeah.
In a very cute way. Her perky little nipples were really, I enjoyed watching the love. I'm watching Talia Balsam. Really, I did.
And you know what? That's because she was her own woman, and her boobs were proud to be.
Exactly.
I agree with you. I thought that's exactly how you show the character is a really free-spirited feminist woman. And lucky for her, she doesn't have enormously large breasts. but she has nicely shaped small breasts, and she went braless. When she hopped off the counter at the end of the last
I know.
She did it on purpose to make her boobies move up and down. She was tormenting us.
Poor Michael J. Fox had to deal with that the entire rehearsal period.
Oh, he had to deal with that, Scott? He looked forward to that.
Oh, I'm sure. And it kind of goes back to the wardrobe of Julia, too. The impression we first get is this mother and daughter, they're very bohemian. We find out that they traveled to Brazil. They're getting ready, and they're staying with the Keatons because they're getting ready to move into a new house.
Right.
And Carrie and Alex it was a little muddled, but we got the impression that they have been sweethearts. Carrie has always liked Alex, even when since she was little. And now they're kind of back in the country, moving into a new house. And Alex is away right now, but Jennifer and Mallory are kind of looking forward to when he comes home.
Oh, boy, are they ever.
Oh, yeah.
And by the way, Jennifer and Mallory, in this very first scene, contrary to everything in the first season, Mallory was like in hip clothes. She looked cute. Jennifer was not in overalls until later in the show. And when Michael
at least not in the first scene. Yeah.
I know. At least they spared me that.
Yeah.
And then Michael J. Fox, I said, if he doesn't come in Argyle, then it is a new day. And there he just comes in his little Alex sweater vest, and I was like, wow, they really grew up over the summer. That was great.
It was awesome. And I'll say Jennifer and Mallory together worked really well.
Yes,
as opposed to Alex and Jennifer in the first season, Jennifer and Mallory together work pretty well.
They do. And they had a fun patter back and forth, and Jennifer was written well. They gave her good punchlines.
They did, and just enough of her that I didn't tire of her at all during this episode. I'm guessing she and her mom counted lines and weren't pleased, but I'm guessing we, the audience,
loved it.
Yes.
Just enough. Yeah. It was just enough.
Hey, she gets that juicy little "my dinner with Andre" joke in this first scene right there.
Oh, Jennifer does.
Yeah, Jennifer gets that very intellectual. My goodness, Jennifer, I thought you were a very smart little girl making a "my dinner with Andre" joke.
Yeah.
And it was totally applicable, too, because, like, they've been touring, Carrie and her mom have been touring around the world, and they've come home, and now they're going to discuss their trip, and that's what "My Dinner with Andre" is all about. It's one of my favorite movies.
Paul, I actually wrote down after that joke, I was like, Paul is loving this episode.
And then after the bralessness, you were like, Corey is
loving this episode right now.
Oh, my Lord.
So, they're getting ready to set up for a slideshow in the living room, and they all go in, and Alex returns from school, where he has been debating with Dr. Schulte about
dun.
Dr. Schulte is still in office.
Uh-oh.
If you'll remember back to the school newspaper episode of Season 1, Dr. Schulte is the Nixonian principal of Harding High School.
Yep. He is Big Brother. All right, so...
the big thing that we established before Alex enters is that he's always been terrified of Carrie. That this is like a funny thing.
And the terrified turns out to be more like he's intimidated by her, doesn't it?
Yeah, that's what I got.
Which
absolutely.
At first I was confused by, because it's like, I don't know, Alex lost his virginity last season. He's a senior in high school.
He's had coffee.
Right, exactly. We've watched him grow up over 22 episodes. I'm just a little surprised at why he would be frightened of an attractive young woman. And then we realize that it's a little bit more than just frightened. He's truly intimidated by her. A strong, independent, which is really funny because this is like mommy problems here.
Oh, yeah.
Like a strong, independent, feminist woman, just like his mother, but a woman who's got way more of a sexuality to him. We know Elise has a real sexuality with Steven, but has no sexuality with Alex. You know, you never see your parents as sexual beings for the most part, even though they parade the kissing and hugging in front of the kids. You still, I will not think of them having sex. I will not. So to me, it was like, here was this girl who had that one extra thing, just like mommy, except she's sexy. And she wants me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought it was very clever, and that scene at the very first time when they're in the room together, and the director, Sam Weisman was the director of this episode, kept them apart from each other physically for the most part.
Yeah, like across the stage.
Absolutely, Alex with his back up against the wall.
Yeah. And what made it great is like Carrie's just projecting sex like all the way across the room to him, like so much so that it pins him against the wall without her having to do anything.
And I thought the physical bit of whenever she did hug him, of him almost like putting himself at an angle, not to be touching her breasts, not to be hip to hip with her, that it was just, okay, I'm just going to lean in for the hug. I thought that was a really good physical bit. It happened twice, and he said mom twice, right? In like an involuntary response of mom.
Yeah.
Corey, you nailed it. You've like Freudian analyzed this whole thing.
Yeah.
This whole thing.
And that whole thing was like, wow, it all has to do. And I thought this is very Gary David Goldberg, where now it's like, okay, now he's treating feminism in a very offhanded way, where sometimes last year he clobbered us with these.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that this was a lot more subtle way of discussing different types of feminism.
And way more fun. This was so much more fun.
And she, and I know we'll get to it soon, and she was so well-spoken and eloquent in describing who she is as a person. And the question is, do you really want to change somebody who if you love someone, do you really want to change them? Or isn't that the reason why you love them to begin with, because of the way they are?
Yeah.
From the get-go, she makes no apologies for who she is, what she wants, what she likes. She knows exactly who she is, and not even that scares Alex.
Oh, totally. And not even in front of her mom or Alex's mom or Jennifer or Mallory. Like, they're talking about, she's like, I want to fuck Alex. And they're all
yes!
I noted that, and I thought, that is so strong. She's a teen, ostensibly, a teen girl who is in front of her own, and her mother was looking at her like, oh, the sexual hijinks of those teenagers.
Yeah.
And it was just sort of very open, and it was really sort of kind of nice.
I really love the relationship with her and her mom. Like, they didn't even really have many lines together, but you could just tell, it's like, my daughter, who she is. She's a woman, you know? And like you said, Paul, 90% of Carrie's subtext is, I want to fuck Alex.
Yes.
Yep. So, Mallory and Jennifer tell Alex that Carrie is in the other room. He is freaking out, and yet then Carrie walks in exactly with that subtext. Hi, Alex. Yep.
She slithers. She walks leading with her hips. She's such a sexual being for such a young character. Now, I wanted to look up, though, what the age difference was between Talia Balsam and Michael J. Fox.
Oh, yeah.
And they seemed like they were of the same age, though.
They were. They cast it very well. She's about 3 years older than him. He's currently, I think, 54, and she's currently 57.
Okay. And then also, the other thing is that she has so much charm, and like, as an actor, and she just can command the room that you, ever since, like, Tom Hanks, you haven't seen someone who can match Michael J. Fox's energy, and she totally does.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Best guest star since Michael J. Fox. Since Tom Hanks. Hands down.
And you can kind of see, like, she has this thing where you can see how much she's enjoying how much he's squirming. You know, because she'll raise her sexuality. And then when it gets to him too much, she's able to drop guard a little bit. And like,
she's fucking with him. It's my favorite type of woman.
It's wonderful. It's great.
I love women who screw around with me.
Yeah, that's true.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
I've watched it happen. It's hilarious.
Oh, Lord. Hey, by the way, you know what I didn't mention to you guys before when I was telling you? I went and saw Matilda at the Music Center the other day. What I didn't tell you, it just
that's a whole other story, audience.
That's a whole other story.
This is totally on the side. But you know what I didn't tell you? The leading role was played by Meredith Anderson's husband, Bryce.
Oh, my God. That's crazy.
And he was wonderful. I was so pleased. And then I realized they either blocked me or they're no longer on Facebook. So if it's Meredith and Bryce out there listening to this on some bizarre chance, Bryce was excellent in the show.
I'm sure she hates me, so I don't know why she would be listening to the two of us.
I knew she hated me too, Paul. There is no way in hell. And if she tolerated Scott, it's only because she probably doesn't remember who the fuck she is.
Probably so. Yep. The other little dopey that didn't get a laugh.
Oh well.
So they all go into the living room for this slideshow. Not to spend too much time on it, but I feel that this is like a movie, TV thing where everyone sits around and watches a slideshow. Did you guys ever do that?
Absolutely.
You did?
After someone's vacation and stuff?
Really?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Never did. We
Wait,
had a
Corey,
slideshow
do you want to explain for the younglings who are listening what a slideshow is?
Yes,
I guess it would be like a single, like a little square, like maybe 2x2 little square thing that you put in a slide projector, and it beams light behind it, and it magnifies it up on a screen, and it's sort of like just single still. What you would, if you wanted to watch still pictures with a whole group of people without passing them around, this is what you would do.
Exactly.
I'm gonna now describe indoor plumbing, but this is just for Scott.
Okay, thank you. I'm taking notes.
The other thing is, coincidentally, Mad Men had that amazing episode at the end of season 1 where it's all about slide projectors, where it's like the brand new thing, the Kodak
and
carousel.
So the carousel, we're about like 1964 or so, probably at this time. Would that be right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We had a bunch of them from our trip to Disney World when I was 5, and we would look at those occasionally and stuff like that.
So you were familiar with the Disney people before you did Snow White, then?
Yeah. They knew me when I was 5. They were like, "You were so much nicer back when you were 5."
You really enjoyed this a lot more. You know, the 5-year-old Paul Packlin we know would have loved to have been dopey and bashful. You. I don't know who this is.
Wow, I totally forgot that Paul played Bashful.
Yeah, I think he had like 2.
At the end.
Yeah, for like two shows, I think.
Yeah. Is that it? And I think I totally forgot. I remember that. That was weird.
It was weird.
Yeah.
And so they're sitting around watching the slides, and they're wrapping up, and...
Oh, Carrie has her arm around Alex.
Yes. Yeah.
Now, she was playing him like a fiddle right here, because this totally took me by surprise. What happens next?
Right.
Yeah, it was kind of weird, and it's a weird way to set up the conflict of the episode. So there is a knock at the door, and Steven goes to answer it, and it's this punk guy, Victor, like classic 80s punk, Victor, who says very little, doesn't want to talk to anybody. Carrie runs over to him, introduces him, and says they're going to go out.
Oh, wait, let me do 2 things that happened.
Okay.
This is amazing.
Please do. Okay.
So I think Alex answers the door, right?
Is it Alex? Okay.
And so Victor's there, and he's got like a jeans jacket, like the one I'm wearing, and then
with spikes, yeah.
Yeah. Alex goes, "Hi," and Victor goes, "Yeah, sure." And I was like, "Is that a drug joke? Like that he's high?"
Oh yeah, I didn't catch that.
And then later, when they're like, "Hey, do you want to stick around and like have some orange juice or something?" Victor goes, "My motor's running," and then Alex goes, "Yeah, I can see that." Is that a dick joke?
Yep, that was a dick joke.
There's a dick joke.
Yep, I thought so. I thought it was too when he said, "Was my motor running?" Sure is. Yeah, I was like, I can see that. Yeah, I thought that was a sexual, like you're a sexual dynamo. You look like a sexual dynamo.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It seems like, I guess the writers started doing coke, and now this show has gotten so good.
Yeah, they started watching some Three's Company or something.
Something like that, yeah. So Carrie runs off with Victor to go out, and Alex cannot stand this.
Nope, he's miserable.
He's miserable, but he puts it on Carrie that she's degrading herself. She deserves better. Her reputation is at stake. And
how do you look at a girl going out with a guy and jump to conclusions and make the assumption, yeah, she's going down on him in the car right now? I mean, I never think that. Only if it's if somebody's going out with me, I think that. But if somebody's going out with somebody else, I don't make the assumption she's putting out.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, this whole episode, Alex is sort of taking on like a very conservative, like big C conservative, masculine view of things.
Oh, 50s, yeah, weird, yeah.
Yeah, so it all stems, and it's interesting because even like you said with the whole Freudian thing of him with his mom, it's him trying to control a mate where he like because she makes him uncomfortable, he has to make her into a mold of what he is comfortable with.
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
so,
exactly right.
So it all stems from his own insecurity, and just like all Republican politics with regard to women or gays or black people or whatever, it all stems from their own insecurity.
Yeah.
And so he's like constantly being like, a lady would do this, and you should do that, and all this stuff.
Who are you to say what a lady should do? I mean,
Right.
I guess it's, we're living in a way more forward-thinking society now, but really, I'm sorry, here in the big city, I wouldn't dream of telling a lady what to do.
No.
Right.
And he even says at one point, she is a lost ship, and I am her lighthouse.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's just really condescending.
It was. I'm going to guide you. My way is the best way. Just come to me, baby. I'm going to teach you everything. I'm Henry Higgins.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's great because it is such an interesting internal conflict, and that is where the episode goes. That's the plot of it. It's like, it's a very well thought out plot.
Mm-hmm. And let's mention, still an episode with really just one plot to it.
I was going to say that, and I did not mind.
Nope. The first time I thought, wow, I wasn't even distracted from it. I thought it was so well written, Ruth Bennett, that I was not distracted at all. I was fine with the whole episode.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So we cut later into the kitchen, and Alex has been waiting up all night for Carrie to get home. He is panicked, and she finally does. And here's something about her entrance. It was really interesting. Is she walks in after this date, one, almost like she knows Alex is in there waiting for her.
Mm-hmm.
And two, already, wanting him right off the bat. After she's been on this date with Victor, she is just totally desiring him the moment she walks in that
gate. She's playing a long game.
I had the image that she made out with Victor just to come in and make out more with Alex.
I thought the same thing. She
figured, you know what? I'll get turned on making out and dry humping Victor in the front seat of his car for a few minutes, but poor Victor is going to have to go home and take matters into his own hands. I'm going in for Alex B. Keaton.
Yep.
And Corey, you are not even being hyperbolic. You could see that that's the case.
It's so there. Yeah.
Like how Michael Richards for Kramer would always figure out where his moment before he entered. Every time he entered, he had what was I doing just before? You could tell that's what Talia Balsam decided.
It was a decision, and I thought she was almost panting when she came in. It was like she was breathless.
Yeah, she shuts the door behind her and almost leans back.
Just thought, oh my goodness, what a lovely performance. Did I mention I enjoyed her performance?
No, do tell.
Just thought it was terrific. And you know what? And while I find her exceedingly attractive, not necessarily your prettiest leading lady of all time, she's incredibly sexy and attractive. But yet, Justine Bateman's prettier.
Yeah, it's definitely, she's not like a bombshell, and I don't mean to denigrate.
Nor do I exactly.
No.
I know what you're saying, Corey. Exactly.
It's just in the casting process. It wouldn't be the first picture I would have called in for this role, and yet to know her, to see her perform, it was sort of like, wow, she totally nailed it in her performance. While maybe it wouldn't have been the person I would have called in necessarily.
Yeah. In the audition, she definitely nailed the hell out of it, I'm sure.
Oh, man. And the chemistry between her and Michael J. Fox, when he was panting and breathless and his mouth was hanging open, and when she crossed her legs at one point, when she was
he looks away.
He had to look away because she was flashing her gams at him.
Yeah. And you could tell Michael J. Fox is sweaty again. It's just like when he lost his virginity.
Yep.
But I was impressed in this last scene in the kitchen, right before when the two moms are drinking their milk and cookies.
Mm-hmm.
I was watching that and I was thinking that this kitchen scene was really cute. And when she was all over him during this scene, I just thought, oh wow, what a cute little scene that was.
Yeah. The other thing is she also, before the act out, where they plan that he's going to ask her out. She's not going to ask him. He's going to ask her because he's a man and blah, blah, blah. And she's like, well, I'm so excited about this date now. I'm never going to be able to get to sleep. And he's like, sleep? And she's like, yeah, I'm right in the next room. And I think I had to pause the video. I was just
family, guys, where have you gone?
That was an invitation to come.
Yeah.
And if that wasn't, the next scene was where he's in the shower.
Yes.
Oh, wait, whoa, slow down. Let's take a break.
Yeah.
Just like Alex, we all need to cool down. We'll be right back. Oh, man. And we're back. Woo!
Oh. Man, that was a good break.
That was.
I needed that break.
Felt like one of those breaks where it's been like a week since you had a break, and then you have that break, and it's a great break.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. So, it's the next morning.
It's the evening. That's the weirdest part.
Yes, I thought that was very weird too.
It is.
Okay, so what happens is, very quickly, because just for the joke purpose, Alex is like pounding on the bathroom door, which is apparently upstairs. We've never seen this set before. It's the hallway.
I know,
upstairs.
it was new.
I've never seen it. I loved it.
Yeah.
And he's like, come on, Mallory, get out of there. You've been in there forever. And then Steven comes out. He was in the shower. And he's like, Alex, what's going on? And he's like, well, I have a date at 8 o'clock. And he's like, well, that's 3 hours from now.
That's the joke.
But the funny thing is, Alex is getting into the shower, Carrie eventually gets in the shower, and Steven...
all three people taking a shower at 5 o'clock in the afternoon?
What's going on?
What's going on?
It made no sense at all. I thought that was fabulously funny.
If anything, Steven should be coming back from work.
But I would get, maybe he wants to, clean up. Maybe it was a sweaty day. We know he sweats heavily from the pits.
That's true. We have seen that.
Maybe he just wanted to shower up and get the stink off of him so he could get into, Elise's pants later on that night.
Right.
This scene that takes place in front of the bathroom, there is every reason to think this scene isn't going to work, and it's really funny.
Oh, God, yeah.
Oh,
every
Michael
part
J.
of it.
Fox sells the hell out of this scene.
He sells it so well. And you know what? The four ladies entering was a really funny entrance.
It was, Yeah.
Oh, so what happens is Alex gets into the shower. We hear the water running, and then Carrie comes out and just la-di-da opens the door and goes in, and then Alex, half naked in a towel, dripping wet, comes running out. And if you are a Teen Beat or a Tiger Beat reader, ladies, get watching this.
Pause. You'll get some great shots.
You get some prime cut, Michael J. Fox.
Yep.
Prime cut.
He'd been working out over the season break.
He's like a string bean. I've never been that skinny.
No.
And he's all wet.
Yeah. And Carrie's having complete fun with this, like totally relaxed. And then tosses out his robe after he's been out there squirming for a little while.
Now, of course, this is a scene where Jennifer appears in overalls, and I was sort of disappointed that they went back to the overalls. But Mallory is wearing, like, Uggs, and she's got, like, a hip 80s girl. It was very progressive.
Absolutely.
And he's, like, standing there in the towel, all embarrassed because the mom's there, the daughters are there. Carrie's mom is also there. And they're all just like, Alex, what the hell's going on? It's amazing.
It's incredible. All right, so we finally build up to this date, and Alex has had, just to kind of rewind back, Alex has been planning out specific things to do on this date, the most wholesome things possible, like donating blood, going to hand out lollipops at the hospital. He wanted to go to an art museum, but there was Renaissance nudes there, so that wouldn't be too wholesome.
Right, go to the bookmobile, too.
Yep, the bookmobile. He settles on this restaurant that they go to. What the hell is this restaurant?
It reminded me, and only because of what he ordered, that he ordered apple pie and milk? Or was that an American, like, this is an American, a Republican, a real Americana kind of thing?
It was like a malt shoppy. It was one of those.
But it wasn't malt shoppy, though.
Serendipity is in New York. Do you know Serendipity over on the east side?
Okay.
Yeah.
You wouldn't, Scott, because there's no serendipity in Podunk.
No.
Yeah, if you're a white woman of means today, then you go to Serendipity. But your parents used to go to this kind of place.
Yes.
Okay.
This is more of a small town USA kind of apple pie and milk.
Like Main Street Disneyland kind of.
Yes,
Right.
that's exactly what it reminded me of.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You see lots of old white people.
Yeah,
And
it was
and
old
children.
And children.
So it was the most unromantic place they could was to find a place that she would detest. Old people, children, and the two of them on their hot date.
Mm-hmm.
She's practically slipping off the chair. She's so excited.
Oh, yeah. She hates it, but she's very sweet about it. Like
she is.
Carrie is fucking cool, man. Like she is so sweet about it, and she even says to him, "Look, haven't I been a good sport? I've done all the things you wanted to do.
Go to bingo at the senior center. Go to the immigration center to see new citizens sworn in.
I played along. Come on, let's go somewhere else."
And before that, just one quick thing. Alex orders for her. He orders 2 apple pies and 2 milks, and then he goes, no, 1 milk, 2 straws.
And I love that they cut to her and her disapproving look.
Yes. Because she's her own person. She deserves her own, it was all really feminist. I felt that it was, but it was done without waving a banner for feminism. You have a strong woman here.
Yeah.
And I just go back to that because several episodes ago, our Jeff episode,
right.
Jeff and Mallory go on a date, we talked a lot about ordering for the woman. And we made a big deal about how we never understood it. It was weird. And to see them address this in this episode was really surprising and nice.
And address it through the characters and characterization and relationship, as opposed to just like theorizing and debating.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the moment where she basically says to him, begs him, take me to a different place.
Yeah. She says, I want to get crazy with you. Don't you want to get crazy with me?
Yes.
Has any woman ever asked you that and you didn't go, humana. And
how did you not get up from that chair and just leave?
How is he not like, wait, give me 5 minutes so I can stand up?
That's what I was thinking, unless
hold on one second. Hold on.
Keeping him pinned to the chair.
Let's eat our apple pie and then we'll go. Wait, pie, no, bad thoughts.
And I wrote down, and I meant it in the double entendre that I wrote down, Alex is so rigid. And I felt at this moment he was rigid both in his crotch and in his personality. He was so rigid. It has to be this way or I'm not interested in it.
Right.
And he says, you need to be he even labels her, and it's so condescending, and I'm glad they, again, addressed it. Why can't you act like a good girl? And there's nothing she's doing that's wrong or bad.
And everything that she was doing was bad was directed at Alex. So how could that be bad?
Yeah.
It's just, the word I wrote down was provocative. She was very provocative to Alex. And in his rigid Republican conservative personality, it was like she's on her way to ruin. She's a hussy. She's a hooer. She's going to turn into a hooer.
Yeah. I just kept going.
I couldn't care if a woman's going to turn into a whore as long as she turns into a whore with me.
Of course.
Partners in crime.
Yeah. What were you going to say, Scott? I'm sorry I interrupted you.
I was going to say it's just weird that I kept asking myself, why does Carrie like Alex so much? Like, it's opposite of the art, but he's just being a dick. And she still finds something. Alex is damn lucky that she still likes him.
And I thought that was a really good point because they addressed that in the next scene.
Exactly.
They actually addressed that.
Sure.
It's like, yeah, you do think that. And then, thankfully, they even deliver on that in the next scene.
Yeah.
That's true.
And even think that also in this episode, the writing is so amazing, is because in last season, we would have questions like this, and then frustratingly, they wouldn't get answered or even addressed. There's not like meat on the bone after this episode. Everything is covered, everything is answered. It brings up interesting questions that then are discussed in an interesting way. It's amazing.
And I actually do remember she does say, the Alex I knew made me laugh. The Alex I knew was charming. And he even he's so rigid, Corey, like you said. He even says, that Alex isn't here.
And he blurts it out like he can't even handle it. He can't even discuss it.
Yeah. So Carrie gets up. Carrie's had enough. She gets up and leaves. She's gone.
Out.
Yep. He blew it. Literally. And so, it's back. Alex goes back home. He's in the kitchen, and I really like this scene. Steven is up waiting for Mallory. Mallory is on a date.
Now, what's Steven drinking here? Did anybody think about that for an instant? It was say the word instant. It was
instant coffee?
Yeah.
But, of course, it's nighttime, so I'm thinking, is he having a nice, refreshing cup of Sanka? Is he making himself a nice Sanka?
It did cross my mind something might be spiked a little bit with that drink.
A little Sanka. I don't know what he was doing. But Alex even played with the jar later on in the scene.
Mm-hmm. But basically...
Why is he staying? Tell me why he's staying up. I want to hear you say the words he said. Why is Steven sitting up?
He's waiting up for Mallory because he's worried.
Why is he worried?
Well, every time she goes out with a new boy, he worries.
New boy! No Jeff!
No Jeff! Although, I gotta say something. Hold up.
What?
I briefly, when I was scrolling through Netflix, my browser clicked on the second episode, the description, and I think Jeff is returning next episode.
No.
Oh, you gotta be kidding me. I was so hopeful.
Bitch.
I thought they specifically wrote this in to
I was hoping.
my mind.
I know.
No.
I hope it's like the end goodbye for Jeff kind of
Maybe
thing.
This is the seedling that she's out with a new boy and he's hot and attractive and interesting.
That could be good.
And now she has to break up with French tutor Jeff in the next episode. Fingers crossed.
Yeah.
That would be amazing. Yeah.
I would love that.
Oh shit, Corey! I was thinking the same thing. I was also very excited.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. Sorry. But there was a line in this scene that I really liked, and Alex says to Steven, he's like, "But you got to agree, there, with girls, there's more problems dating than with boys. They're different." And Steven goes, "No, I wouldn't say more problems, just different ones."
Totally.
I thought that was a really good way of describing it. Of why
a return to form of Steven the feminist. And
yeah, exactly. Yeah,
this was
the beard.
Talk. This was a very good talk, and I thought his character was very strongly written too. Steven had a real point of view.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And it wasn't really, and it wasn't easy because with this point of view, we know Alex is confused at this point. He doesn't know, and he's coming to his father for advice. Mm-hmm. And Steven was pretty cool. I mean, the advice was he wasn't telling Alex what decision to make. He just gave advice on the subject matter.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was a nice romantic analogy. It's like I feel like an astronaut that's never been trained. And even he was like, isn't that nice? Isn't that kind of a cool thing to be with someone like that? I love that. It was really
because he was really I think referencing the fact that he said later, I fell in love with an astronaut, or I got involved with an astronaut too, because it's directly referencing Elise and his relationship with her. That hey, none of us know what we're doing. We're all just doing the best we can. We're trying to keep it real, and but everyone's just walking in space here.
Yeah. And if someone who loves you and challenges you, but at the same time, keeps you off balance, but will never let you fall over. That's what it seems like this episode is talking about. Is that love is a thing that drives you crazy, but also is something where there is safety.
Right, and the challenge is good. It's because it brings out the best in you.
Right.
Absolutely, and I thought that's something that Steven feels is important for him, that he does have this woman who challenges him all the time, and that's recommended, and maybe that's the impetus for, the next scene when Alex finally demurs to Carrie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and so then sorry.
No, go for it.
Before Carrie walks in, or before she enters, Alex says to Steven, "But Dad, if boys and girls are treated the same, why are you waiting up for Mallory?" And then Steven says, and with a grin, he goes, "Because you're already home." And that's such a wonderful thing. It's like, he was just as worried about Alex, and that's great. I love it.
That's right. Yeah. He was up waiting for both of his children to come home. It's not easy to go to sleep when your kids are out of the house.
Right.
You'll learn that, Scott.
I know. I've already. Believe me, when I heard that line, I was just like, "Oh man."
I'm very grateful. I'm in that little notch in between my two kids, where where Griffin's off on his own, and I don't even think about it. Now, out of sight, out of mind.
Right.
But Logan is home, and he reminded me a few days ago that sometime in the near future he's going to start to drive, and I almost wanted to leap on him. I was like, "Oh, I hated that."
That's scary. I can only dream of how scary that's going to be.
I just hate waiting for him to come home. I could never fall asleep unless I knew that the kid was home.
Oh, and it's also more of being with friends who drive, getting in cars with other friends, going to parties.
And nowadays with texting and texting, it just all scares me.
It scares me too. It scares me too. Yep.
This. See what I'm doing?
And I imagine that's a very common motion around your home.
Yeah, I'm sure.
How old is Logan? Is he 13, 14?
He just turned 13. That's all. He's 13. It was 2 years until learner's permit.
Gotcha.
Oh, man. So Carrie comes back home, and obviously is pissed. And Alex comes right out, I know you're going to tell me I was rude, I was obnoxious, I was presumptuous, manipulative. And she's like, go on, keep going, makes her squirm. And it all plays out really nicely because she says, I really like to take you out, I know a place with ambiance. And then does an elbow to the light switch in the kitchen, the lights go down, and they dance.
It was, and you know what was the nicest thing? Nowadays, we would hear an audience go, woo, ooh, for the kiss and the dance. And they were very discreet in not having any noise at all. Just the music comes up, and it was a really sweet ending.
Yeah. And it was such a lovely kiss, too. When he goes in, he grabs her face, and it's just like this nice thing where it's like, hey, everything's going to calm down, and we're going to really check out and see what's up.
Yeah. I thought it was very sweet. Hey, and of course, when Alex apologized, what word did he have to say, Paul?
Sorry.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
There was, what is it, some other thing. I feel like...
Did we miss anything?
No, I guess not. I thought there was one other thing.
Did I mention she's braless during the entire episode?
That's right, folks.
You want her bookended from one end of the boob to the other end of the boob. Nary a bra to be found.
Oh, God bless her. Can't wait for her to come back on this show.
I really hope she does. Oh, you know what? The thing I was going to say, I just remembered it. As a writing thing, because, Scott, what you were saying, where he does the, I was a louse, I was an idiot, I was stupid, I was jealous. And then usually the writing joke in a sitcom would be, stop me when I've said too much. And then the woman goes, no, go on.
Yeah.
And that's the trope. But in this instance, because she's such a smart character, they didn't give the punchline to the guy, they gave it to her, that she was like, just go on.
Just go on.
Right.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah.
That's it.
It was night and day from season 1. It was amazing. I'm so excited for this season.
I'll believe it when I see it.
That's right. We do have the ghost of Jeff that could be popping up next episode.
Do you think they'll ever address why Steven has a beard now? Do you think it'll ever come?
I don't know. Do you think maybe there will be a joke sometime soon about the beard?
He's competing with Jay Tarsis for beard growing.
They're doing Movember.
All right, guys. I think we covered it all. It's a new day. Season 2.
You know what? I recommend to anyone listening, just go, if you just enjoy listening to us and don't watch the show, really go watch this episode. It's so
really
much
watch this one. It's good.
Really watch this one. It's awesome. It's great.
I think anyone who ever listened to this knows by now that we're not pimping for family talk.
No. Just listen to the past 5 episodes and you'll know that.
Yes. This one's good.
Yeah. And also, guys, be sure to rate and review our show on iTunes. And for questions and comments, email us at qualitytimewithfamilyties@gmail.com. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at QTWFT for updates. You can also follow each of us on Twitter. I'm at Follow Jones.
I'm at Paul Packler.
And I'm at Corp.
And like our Facebook page, too. We'd like to thank our host and producer, Barbara Dillon at Fanboy Comics. Fanboy Comics is an online conglomerate of geek media providing its readers with daily reviews, interviews, and podcasts that span the pop culture spectrum. Check them out at fanboycomics.net. We also like to thank Perry Adams, who beautifully performs the Family Ties theme song Without Us. Check out Perry's website at perryadams.com. We also like to thank Brian Dillon, who created our fantastic drawing and artwork as well as edits our show. Brian is the president and co-founder of Fanboy Comics, and follow him at Comic Book Slayer on Twitter. And lastly, Sean Foster, Fanboy Comics graphic designer, for designing our logo. Thank you, everyone, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.